Today, I'll be talking about the 3 steps to hire an awesome freelancer. Now, just want to highlight that if you have any questions during the webinar, and if you want to, just write them down or post them on the questions box on GoToWebinar, you can just post them there. At the end of the presentation, in the last 10 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna read through the questions that you may have, and I'll address them there, okay? So while I'm doing the presentation, just write them down there, and I'll address them at the end of the presentation. So let's get this started. So first of all let's get one thing straight. My name is not Anderson. If this is the first time that you come across me and my name is Ederson. There's no N after the A. So just want to start the conversation on the right tone here. This is Anderson. This is Anderson Cooper. This is Pamela Anderson. This is Mr. Anderson, but I am just Ederson. So if you have any questions about my name, you can go to www.mynameisnotanderson.com and you're gonna have a laugh there. So have a look, check it out. In any case, with that said, I am the founder of DeskPaul, where we support digital agencies to help them supporting their clients' websites so they can have more time to focus on what they are good at. So that's what I do, that's what we do at DeskPaul. Now, let's get to the main topic of the conversation here, of the presentation. Let's talk about the challenge that we face whenever we need to hire someone online, we need to hire a freelancer. So some of the challenges that we have is, it's hard to find someone reliable. It's hard to find someone that will not disappear tomorrow or within a week and doesn't give you any information. So it's hard to find a reliable person, a reliable resource, a reliable professional. It's hard to find a professional as well that has the skill set that you want them to have. Sometimes, people will apply to a job post and they don't know exactly how what they need to know to get your job done. So people lack skills as well. So skills is another challenge. Communication, is a huge challenge. I almost think that communication is one of the biggest challenges on a remote engagement, on a freelance engagement. People don't communicate frequently back to you. People don't update you on the status of their tasks, of their projects, So communication is a key element. Or people may not just be able to communicate well on the language that you expect them to communicate with you. So communication is another big challenger in finding someone affordable, finding someone that is reliable, has the skill set, communicates well, and at the same time, it's affordable to your budget, because you can find very expensive professionals with number 1, 2, and 3, but are they still affordable within your budget? Maybe they are, maybe they don't. So affordability is yet another key aspect. Let me ask you this. Raise your hand if you have faced any one of those challenges before. Okay, just raise a quick hand just to see if you see it. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, John. Thank you, Martin. Thank you very much. Yeah, you see, this is not just me. I mean, more people out there face those challenges as well. Now, let me just talk a little bit of why I'm here telling you about this. Telling you how to hire 3 steps to hire an awesome freelancer, because I have been doing this for the past 10 years. So in the past 10 years, I have been on both sides of the fence, which I'm gonna get in a second, but I have gone through over 100 freelancers on my 10 years road, working with remote contractors, working with freelancers. So again, I've been doing this for quite a while. Now, I also think that I have an unique perspective because I have been on both sides of the fence. For the first half of those 5 years, I have done a lot of work as a freelancer myself on many different sites out there. So I have a good grasp on what it is to be a freelancer, looking for work, looking for projects, and a client, a prospective employer looking for people to hire. So I have a good perspective, a good experience, and I think that puts me in a very good spot to talk about this topic, you know. So being both sides. Now, just wanted to highlight some of the marketplace that I have worked before, and I still work on some of those marketplaces as a client this time around. So I have worked a lot with Upwork, which used to be called Odesk, and it's actually a merge of Odesk and Elance.com. They merged together, they became Upwork. Very good sites. That's my top pick, to be honest, but I'm gonna get more into that later. There's also Guru.com and freelancer.com. Those are very popular websites, marketplace websites where you can find online freelancers. By the way, what I'm talking about here, it's not just about freelancers that will work on your websites. It's freelancers that will work for you for design work, for SEO work, for article writing work, for any kind of work that can be done and delivered online. That's basically it. So you can apply what I'm talking about to all the different types of freelancers that you can work remotely. So this is the marketplaces. Now, let's start with the two phases, I would say, in a remote engagement. The first phase is the selecting part of getting someone that will be good enough to work with you. So selection is the first how can I say, challenge there. Now, some of the challenges during the selecting process. Well, you're gonna get a lot of canned response. What is a canned response? It's a response that this particular freelancer is just copying and pasting to each and every job post that they see out there. They copy, they paste, they reply, and that's it. You're gonna come across a lot of canned replies, a lot of templated responses to your job posting. So that's one challenge there. That's one problem in selecting a professional. Another problem is you're gonna get too many responses. Now, if you post something today on a site like Upwork, most likely within 2 days you're gonna have between 50 to 100 applications, depending on what kind of job is the one that you are trying to find a professional for. So again, you're gonna be getting a lot of responses and a lot of canned responses as well. And of course, the other problem, the other challenge is to find time to interview those people. How can you go about selecting one person out of 50 or 100 just by briefly looking at what they posted to your job posting? It's very hard, and that's one aspect that I want to address today on this talk. Now, let me ask you this. Which one of those three is the one that really resonates most with you? If you can just type in on the chat window, I just want to see if any one of those resonates well with any one of you, just to see, have you seen canned response before? Have you seen too many responses before? Have you seen, do you spend a lot of time interviewing people? So I just want to see if anyone has an opinion there. And yes, thank you very much, Martin. Thanks for your answer. Again, Martin is saying that he gets a lot of canned response, a lot of templated response. Thank you very much. What do we have more? What would we have here as well? Perfect. Jane, thank you very much. Yes, too many responses. That's true, Jane. I mean, again, we get that quite a lot. Now, let me see here. Yep. Too many. Yeah, thank you very much, Jane. So, keep moving here. So the first aspect is really selection. Now, let's say that you select someone. The other phase is to actually work with that individual. So that's what I'm talking about from the working point of view. Hard to find committed people, hard to find people that don't disappear on you, hard to find people that has the competence to deliver on what they are promising you that they're going to deliver. I come across so many times those professionals that the number of technology that they say that they are good at, I mean, it's from PHP to .NET to Ruby, anything. I mean, I guess that whatever technical term they can find, they just stuck on top of each other. So who knows which competence that individual really has, We never know. Communication as well. Communication, again, one more point, while you are working with individuals, they may get back to you with an update, they may not. So communication is a key aspect, is yet another challenge there. And comprehension, do they understand what needs to be done? Or you have to explain yourself over and over and over until you get your point across. Comprehension, which is kind of a part together with communication, it's a big part. Do they understand? Are they able to understand what needs to be done? Yes or no? So working is a big. Those 4 points are big challenges while you are working with a professional freelancer working remotely as well. Now, with all those challenges, what happens is that most often than not, the project fails. And if the project didn't fail, maybe it gets delayed. Maybe if you are an agency, if you have a business of yourself that provides services to other clients, now you have an angry client to deal with. Now you are over budget because the freelancer may want to charge you more for something that was not well scoped. Or maybe you just have to take that project and give it to another professional. So again, you're going to be cutting on your profit margins as well, which if you have any profit margin left on that particular project, if that's the case for you. So again, project fails or project gets derailed, delayed, over budget, over time, That's what happens there. Now, the solution. Let's talk a little bit about the solution. So I look back on my experience, on my, at that point, my 7 years experience, because this was a few years ago. And I said, which aspect of this process here am I failing? Is that the hiring? Is that dealing with the professional? Do I need to deal with them in a different way? So I said, you know what? I think that for me to increase the chances of finding a good professional, I have to refine my selection process. So I went back, had a look at my selection process, and I said, you know what? I'm actually, to be quite honest, my selection process was based on gut feeling. I read whatever someone replied to my job application, and I had the gut feeling that, hey, this is a good one, I may interview him. Now, I needed to change that approach. I need to structure my approach a little bit better to, again, increase the chances of succeeding more often than not when hiring someone online. So, after, I thought about that and I started to apply some of the things that I'm gonna share with you today. In the last 2 years alone, my success rate has increased quite a lot. It went all the way up to 90%. So 9 out of 10 hires that I was doing, I was getting successful on that hire because I was applying this systematic approach that I'm going to share with you. Now, in the last 6 months alone, I have gone through 100% success rate with this method of selecting professionals. I have hired 5 developers, 4 technical support people, and 1 video editor as well, using the system that I'm gonna be sharing about. So again, it increased my success rate quite a lot. Now, before I get to the actual system, let me just talk about a little bit about some misconceptions about working with remote workers, with freelancers. People say that you cannot rely on freelancers online. Well, let me tell you this. The problem that you're not getting more success out of those relationships is because you are not finding the right professional to work with. That's it. But there are plenty of reliable resources online, of reliable people that work online, and I can prove that because I work with them. I work with a lot of those individuals. So you can rely. Another misconception is the belief that you cannot find great professionals on the web, great professionals that are doing freelance work from all over the globe, and they can work for you. People think that you can only find great professionals if you are paying a lot of money for them. But no, you can find great professionals anywhere in the globe. Anywhere in the globe, there's talent. Maybe one place has more talent than others, but they all have talents, and you can you are able to get talent for a fraction of the cost of what we get usually in North America, in Europe in general. And the third misconception is that you cannot grow a business with a remote workforce. Let me tell you, this is not true either. I'm just going to mention two companies here that you're going to be able to relate to them. They both have their workforce all remote. A lot of them freelancers. I'm talking about Basecamp, which used to be called 37 Signals. Pretty much all their workforce is remote. The other one is Automatic. Automatic is the company behind WordPress. WordPress, the biggest CMS out there. Yes, there's a company behind that, which is called Automatic, and their entire workforce is made out of remote workers. Some are freelancers, some started as freelancers, they became full-time. So again, you can grow a business with a remote workforce as long as you use the right approach. So misconceptions. Again, just raise your hand if some of those misconceptions, if they used to apply or if they apply to you. Just raise your hands so I can have a look and see if there's anything there that I'm saying that relates to you. So thank you very much, John, Martin. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Perfect. It's good to know that you can relate to that, to some of those misconceptions. Now, let's keep going here. So let's talk about the framework. Let's talk about the hiring a freelancer framework. Just get some water here. Okay, so we're talking about 3 steps. First, we're gonna test, and let me so first we're gonna test, then we're gonna track people, and then we're gonna try people. And you say, hey, try there, but isn't try the same as test? No, for the sake of the framework here, it's slightly different. So it's the 3 T's framework for hiring a freelancer, a great and awesome freelancer. That's the framework, and I'm gonna go now into the details of each one of those 3 steps. The first one, let's talk about test. So you're gonna test a set of people, a group of people. The first thing that you have to do is you have to select which site are you gonna be doing that test from. Are you gonna be using guru.com? Are you gonna be using freelancer.com? Are you going to be using upwork.com? Well, my choice really goes towards upwork.com. I really like the site. They have 2 ways of working with professional freelancers, by the hour or by the project. And I really like their system. I really like their tools. That's my choice of marketplace, is really upwork.com. So first thing is that you select which site you're going to be using for your test. Then you're going to create a test post. Now, here's the thing. On that post, you will not be telling people that this is a test. You will not be doing that, because when people know that you are testing them, they'll behave in a different way. So for all purpose, that is a real project that you are posting, but you know that this is just a test, so you can evaluate a few different people there. So for that post, the first thing is that you're gonna make it very vague. You're not gonna be going into too much details about what is a test. You're gonna say something like this: I need ongoing help with my WordPress website, or I need ongoing design services, or I need ongoing SEO services. Make it vague, because if you try to be very specific at the point of the job posting, you're gonna invite people to start asking questions about the specifics of the job. So leave it open, leave it in a way that, they know that you need WordPress, they know that you need SEO, they know that you need design, but they don't know exactly which type of work you need there on that area. They know the niche, but not the details, and that's fine. So don't go on with too many details there at all, aside from the technology. Now, the other aspect is go by the hour, not by the project not by the closed project. The reason is very simple. Because just imagine this. You are being vague on your job posting and you ask people to commit on a fixed amount, it does make sense because they don't know the specifics. So people will only agree to you being vague on your job description if you leave it open and if your job posting is by the hour. Because when you do it by the hour, whatever job you send to them, it's just a matter of how many hours that will take. So they will be okay on accepting a job, an offer from you that is vague, as long as you do it by the hour. Because it may be, they may think, it may take 5 hours, 10 hours, doesn't matter because they are paying me by the hour. So it's okay. So again, make it by the hour, and I'm gonna go through more details on that in a second. Also, to avoid canned replies, to avoid templated replies, you may want to say something like this. When replying to this job posting, make sure that you repeat this phrase or this word on your reply back, so I know that you read the entire job description. This does not guarantee that they're gonna read whatever you posted there, but it gives you an edge to filter out some people that may not even read what you are posting there on your job post. So again, you may word something like this. Please reply by saying, what a great job, so I know that you read the job posting. So again, just a way to avoid templated responses and make sure that people read through. Now, the last point that I want to make is make sure that you mention that you want people that can talk to you via video and voice. I'm really against communication via email only, unless it's the services that are being provided to you, but and I said at the start, but to work in a remote engagement with a professional from the other side of the globe, maybe, I really like to have the ability to talk to that individual on Skype and see their faces. Because when you see people's faces, when you are able to hear their voice, you start to create a relationship with that individual. But I'm gonna get more details into that in a little while. So those are the points here on the post. Now, another very important aspect when you are posting your test project, your test job, is the filtering aspect, because Upwork allows you to filter and to specify things like, I want only individuals that can speak English or can speak Spanish. You can specify that. You can even say that I want people from this region of the globe. You cannot go as low as the country, but you can mention that on your job post if you want people from a certain country. Why, you may ask? Because maybe you are from that country and you want people from that country, or maybe you have dealt with people from that particular country and you work well with them, and you may add country as part of your filtering process. So country, language, of course, the skill set. I need someone that knows HTML. I need someone that knows C#. I need someone that knows DNN. I need someone that knows SEO, design, whatever. The more you can be specific, the better. Now, don't ask for everything under the sink. I mean, don't ask someone that for someone that knows PHP, C#, all kinds of technologies, because you won't find someone that is good in all of them. Try to be specific there. So skills, yet another filter. The other filter that I'm going to mention is the hourly rate. On Upwork, you cannot specify exactly the hourly rate that you allow, but you can set a range. They have they have 3 levels. So if you are willing to go higher end, you go to the 3rd level. If you are paying less, and I think that they show a range. But again, the hourly rate is another filter that you can apply to the new job that you're creating. And last filter here that I would put in place is on Upwork as well. You can say, hey, I just want to work with independent people, or I'm okay to work with agencies as well. So my suggestion, my advice is pick independent professionals because it will be easier for you to create a long-lasting relationship with that individual as compared to a company. So try to pick individuals, not agencies there. So that's the filter. Now, let's talk a little bit about the hiring process. So you're gonna post that vague job post, which is a test, and you're gonna hire 5 people for that job. But again, they don't know that this is a test. So you're gonna hire 5 people. Sorry, let me step back. You're gonna post, you're gonna let the post run for 2 days. So 1 full day, 2 full days. At the end of the second day, you're gonna hire 5 people. How are you gonna hire 5 people? Well, you're gonna use your filters again. Keep in mind one thing, even though you may have said that, hey, I just want to work with people that can speak English, that his hourly rate is X, that he comes from this part of the world, or that he's an independent contractor. You can specify all of that, but people that are outside of those filters, they can still apply to your job. So you still have to apply your filters when you are scanning for candidates. So again, keep in mind that you have to apply the filters again. And so the idea is hire 5 people because you need a pool of people based on your filters, the ones that have good feedback. Have a look at their feedbacks as well. Don't hire someone that has no feedback because you're just hiring someone too new to the platform, too new to potentially to an online engagement. You don't want that. You don't want to be teaching people the basics of a remote engagement like this, So hire them for 5 hours and hire 5 people. Now, again, avoid people without feedback. And let's go down here to the exact process that I'm talking about. Hire 5 people. You're gonna be sending them 4 tasks, and you're gonna give them 3 days to go through those 4 tasks. Okay? So again, 5 people, 4 tasks for 3 days. And in total, they should not spend more than 5 hours. How can you limit that? Because you can say on Upwork, I'm hiring this individual for a maximum of 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week. Because this test job won't go over a week. So when you say I'm allowing 5 hours maximum per week, you are limiting your exposure, your financial exposure to that test. So you are limiting that. So 5 people, 4 tasks in 3 days. Now, let's talk a little bit about the tasks. Of course, those tasks, they have to be relevant. I don't recommend that your tasks will be just a question that they can answer by typing. I don't recommend just have a test, a written test for them to fill out. I recommend to have something concrete that they feel that this is a real task. So that's really it. Now, of course, it has to be within the context of the skill set that you want people to have. If it's SEO related, design related, web development related, it has to be relevant to that particular skill set. Now, one recommendation about the 4 tasks is that pick one task and don't make it too clear what you want to achieve on that task. Actually, make it ambiguous. Make it unclear. And why? Because you want to test how people will communicate back to you, asking additional questions about that vague task. Because if you put out there a vague an ambiguous task, and people don't have a question about that, then you're gonna ask, they don't have good judgment. So maybe this is not a good candidate. So make one task vague that will have them having to come back to you asking additional questions. Okay? What else? Ask them to keep you posted on their progress. Because again, one of the key aspects that you are testing is not only their skills, but their ability to communicate back to you and their commitment as well. If you ask them to keep you posted as they progress and they don't do that, Do you expect them to work out later? No, of course not. So again, have them giving you status updates of as they go along on the task list, on the 4 tasks. And last here, if because there might be a vague task there, they may want to meet you. They may want to say, hey, let's talk about this. By the way, I mean, if they come to you and asking to meet you, that's a huge plus for that individual, because very rarely we see, freelancers online that they want to meet you, they want to talk to you. So it's a real good sign if you have someone that wants to interact with you via voice, via video. It's really, really a big plus. That's my way of thinking. So those were the tasks. Now, you give them 4 tasks for the 5 people. You ask them to do them in 3 days. Now you have to track them. You have to track them, how they progress, and you have to rate them. And in terms of rating, what I have here, which you will have a link at the end of the webinar to the assessment sheet, it's just a simple spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet that you're going to list the name of the individuals, their profile URLs in case you want to get more details about them, their hourly rate for reference, their country as well. And then I have listed here 5 columns that should allow you to start to track and rate them. On my case, I put up communication, quality of work, the skills. Do they have the skills? Do they know what needs to be done? They know how to do it. Are they fast? In regards to speed, are they fast enough? I mean, are they doing that on a timely manner? And are they savvy? This savvy column is a bit of a subjective one, but I try to see if that individual gets what needs to be done quickly. For instance, I said that there's that vague task there. Then they come back to you right away with a question about that vague task, yes or no. So you're gonna check, you're gonna rate them, how savvy they are, how smart they are. And again, it's a bit subjective, but those were my criteria. You may want to change this. You may want to put different criteria, but those are mine. The other thing that I do here is I start everybody at 10, and then I start to take away points from them. At the end of the 3 days that I'm doing the test, I just have a look on the total, a very simple sum of their rates, and the ones that have higher rates, those are the ones that I'm gonna pick, but I'm gonna go further into that in the next slide. So the last column here is the notes column. I just make some comments about that individual. And by the way, this is a real spreadsheet. I just took their name out, so there's no reference there, but this is a real sheet. And again, this will be available to download at the end of the presentation in a link that I'm going to be sharing. So your objective here is to get 2 individuals. The track phase, the end of the track phase, is for you to get 2 individuals that you're going to be interviewing. You're going to be talking to them. 1 second. Just to lubricate here my voice. So the goal of the second phase is to get 2 people, to get 2 individuals, 2 professionals that you're going to be talking to them. So see, right now you are saving the interviewing part to the very last part. It's no longer a part of the initial selection, but a part of the end tail of your process, So again, you are just interviewing the top 2 ones. And I'm not gonna tell you which questions you're gonna be asking, but there's one question that I would ask anyone that I'll be interviewing is, do you have any questions? Because it's usually a bad sign if people don't have any questions. I usually don't like that. I mean, I'm hiring the person doesn't have any questions here. How come? So I'll really second guess someone that does not have any questions to ask as a client. So you're gonna be interviewing 2, and of course you're gonna be hiring 1. The best one from the 2 that you are interviewing, you're gonna be doing the final hiring. Now, for the final hiring, what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be creating a private job post. Now, this time around, it's a real job that you have, and we're going to be talking about that next. And you're going to be sending to that individual that you have selected. via, again, a private job. You're not going to be mixing the test job with the private, long-term job. But I'm going to get to that in a second. There is also the dismissal of the other 4 candidates. So if there are people that from those 4 that you are letting go, that you really like them, you may just want to say, hey, very good working with you. I will keep your name here for the future. Let's keep in touch. Because here's the thing. If that one that you are now working and have hired, if he or she doesn't work out that well, you still have maybe a few options there to go back to, So also, I just want to make points during the dismissal. Be fair, be generous, because at the end of the day, you're going to be rating them. And they will rate you as well. So you don't want to get bad ratings as a client either. So be generous, be fair when you are rating the individuals that you did not hire. Again, you cannot go wrong with positive feedback. Of course, if you had a real bad experience with someone, be honest and do that. But make it wrong towards positive instead of negative. That's my key takeaway from the dismissal part of things. Now, we're going to start the third phase here. The third phase, which is the try phase. The try phase, you're going to be trying that individual that you have selected. Because here's the thing. Just for the test job, yes, you were able to get a little bit of information about that individual, but not too much. Now it's your chance to work with that individual on a small project, because I don't recommend that you overcommit here, on a small project that you will be able to see how he works with you over the course of a few weeks. My recommendation is that the trial period should be anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. You should not overcommit yet with that individual. Remember, here you are only dating the individual. You're not marrying him yet or her yet. You are not giving a big project. If you have a big project, maybe chop it down into smaller chunks and give that individual just a small project, but again, a limited project that can be done within 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Let's get more specific here. So a small project, very clear scope, not too much room for misunderstanding. So clear scope, small project. And your objective now on the third phase with that individual is to confirm or refute that they are committed to you in your projects, that they have the competence, again, the skills. Do they really have the skills? Do they communicate well in a long run, in a long-term project? And do they understand what needs to be done well as well? So again, you are trying to confirm or refute your initial findings. Okay, so that's your objective with the try phase. Now, let's summarize here. Within a week, you're gonna get done phase 1 and step 1 and step 2 of the framework, of the hiring framework. So I'm just gonna give an example here of starting on a Monday. So on a Monday morning, you can post the job. You let the job post run for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. By the end of Tuesday, you're gonna hire 5 people. Then you're gonna track their progress on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. At the end of Friday, you're gonna have a look at your assessment sheet, see the top 2, and invite the top 2 for an interview. Monday, you're gonna interview them, and at the end of Monday, you're gonna hire 1 individual. So within a week, you should be able to run this entire selection process. Now, of course, the trial phase runs for 2 to 4 weeks, so it's not accounted here, but you can get the individual within a week. That's the system here. One second. A few mistakes that I see people doing when they are hiring online freelancers. Number 1 is the commitment. People, overcommit too quickly. they may think that, okay, so I selected someone here, I'm gonna give them this big project. They go marrying without first dating them. They don't go with a small project, they go with a larger project. Again, I don't think that you should overcommit. I think that you should have a small project that can give you a chance to see how that individual operates on a real project. Okay? And by the way, everything that I'm talking about here, this is really more applicable towards getting a professional that you want to work for the long run. I'm not talking about here about a fly-by type of freelancer that you want for one-off project and that's it. You no longer want to work with him. I mean, what I'm talking about here is really to be able to get individuals to stick with you for the long run, and if you have long-term needs. So first mistake is the committing too much before you really know the individual. Second, compensation. What I mean by compensation is having the less expensive professional as your only criteria of selection. That's also another mistake. I mean, if you go with the cheapest one, if it's your only criteria, you're gonna be getting what you pay for. So if you are comfortable within a range, don't hesitate on going the upper side of that range. So again, compensation, don't decide just based on the lowest rate possible. Communication. So far, I have been talking about communication from the freelancer side to you, but you have to set the example as well. If you want them to communicate well, you have to be the first one to communicate well back to them. So set the expectations. I need you to, update me every day, every 2 days. See, you have to set the example to them. If you want them to communicate, verbally via Skype, you do that yourself as well. So again, it's important to have good communication, not only from their side, but from you. You have to set the example of communication yourself. And the fourth one and last one is connection. Let me tell you something. The person on the other side of the computer is a human being. They need connection. They just think about this. If you are working on an office environment and if you have colleagues, usually, there is that conversation of, how's everything, how's family. So you go beyond the business at that point. You go a little bit more personal there. So I'm challenging you at this point to try to make a connection with those individuals. Let me go back to myself here. Any professional that I work with, I try to get to know, the name of their kids, the name of their spouse, of their family members. I get to know them a little bit deeper. Now, I'm not saying that you're gonna be their best friends. No, it's not the case. But try to make a connection with that individual, because you are not dealing with a computer there. It's a person that has, human needs as well. And the same way that you like to work with people you like, the other side, it's the same thing from the other side. They will like to work with people they like to work with. So you are trying to establish a long-term relationship with this individual. So try connecting in a more personal level with those individuals as much as possible. And that's the reason why I find it very important to have video communication, not only voice, but video as well, because you can see each other. And that's very important. A big part of communication is not just the verbal, but the body language as well. So that's the fourth mistake. Now, you may ask, how do I get started? Well, you can get started just by starting your first task. Think about this. You know what? I need to hire someone to help me with marketing. Okay, so think about the first task that you could potentially create to try a new professional, to test them. So think about that. Start to document that. That's how I would recommend that you get started here. Now, let's do a bit of a recap here. So the problems: find someone reliable, find someone with the right skill set, find someone that can communicate well, and find someone that you can afford, within a budget. A recap of the framework. So the first step of the framework is to test. On the test, you're gonna post a test project. You're gonna follow the posting checklist, which, by the way, at the end of the presentation, there's another PDF that has a posting checklist that you can check if your posting is following all points of what I'm saying. So that's the posting checklist that I mentioned here. You're gonna hire 5 people, you're gonna give them 4 tasks, and in those 4 tasks, they need to be done within 3 days, okay? Second step is the track. You're gonna evaluate their progress, you're gonna log how they progress on the assessment sheet, you're gonna rate the candidates according to those different criteria, and then you're gonna be picking the top 2 ones that fit from your assessment sheet, and you're gonna interview them. Based on the interview, you're gonna hire the best one, you're gonna give the best one a real project, a small project with very clear scope, and that small project will take anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks to get done. So within a month, you should have a good understanding if that individual is a keeper or if you need to find someone else. And as I said, 4 weeks tops to try that candidate. Now, you might be thinking, no, it's not easy. Yes, that's right, it's not easy. I mean, let me tell you something funny here. The first time that I put this webinar together, 3 steps to hire an awesome freelancer, it used to be called 3 easy steps to hire an awesome freelancer. And after I started looking at the process and all the different steps, I said, you know what? Man, this is not that easy. It's a process that does work because I use that quite a lot, but it is not that easy. So I said, no, let me take easy away, and it will be just the 3 steps to hire. So yes, not easy. It still takes time. You need to make time to come up with the 4 questions, to post it, to select 5 people, to hire them, to evaluate them, to interview them. Yes, it takes time. It still takes money as well. I mean, let's just do a very simple math here. If we get 5 people at a very cheap rate at $10 an hour for 5 hours, you are looking at $250 just to run the test. But again, $10 is very, very, very low. So if you are getting someone a little bit more reasonable, try to go with a $20 an hour individual, which again, 5 people, 5 hours, you are looking at about $500 to run your test. But let me tell you this, it's worth, because it's even worse if you hire someone and you pick the wrong person. This method here that I'm preaching will increase your chances of success. Now, as I'm saying here, it will increase your chances. There is no guarantees that this will work all the time. So again, no guarantees. The money is gone, time is gone as well, but it will increase your chances to be successful on hiring an online person. Downloads. You can get this URL, deskpaul.com/3 steps. You're going to be able to download the assessment sheet, the Excel spreadsheet with the assessment sheet. You're going to be able to download the checklist as well. It's another PDF. So you can find both of them on this URL, deskpaul.com/3 steps. Here's my email, ederson@deskpaul.me. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you very much for your time, and yeah, I hope to see you around. I hope that this webinar was useful. By the way, I would love to hear your feedback about the webinar. I would love, because I'm always trying to make sure that this webinar is more relevant. It's very relevant. So I cannot do that by self-evaluating. I need your input. I need your feedback. So if you can please take 2 minutes to drop me an email at ederson@deskpaul.me and just tell me if this webinar was useful to you, if there was something that I'm missing here that you have expected me to have covered, please give me your feedback. But other than that, that's really it. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here, and I hope to see you around. Bye.